Welcome everybody to the Keys to Wisdom channel. So I want to go over something fairly quickly here, and I want to thank Tammy for bringing something to my attention that allowed me to see a little bit clearer what was in my plain sight the whole time. So I've shown this a few times. I even talked about it in another video, but I've got in the year of the world, which is Anno Mundi with a Hebrew calendar, minus 3,761 years equals the year of the Lord, which is AD or Anno Domini, or the year of the Lord, AD, plus 3,761 years equals the year of the world, AM, Hebrew calendar. So when I got it in here, there's a double key, right? I'm talking about it twice. The addition way from the year of the Lord plus, or the subtraction way from the year of the world minus. And then in these two keys, I've got reproduced the 3761. But Tammy was asking me in a video yesterday, how come 2025 plus 3761 equals 5786, right? And right now it is the AM or Hebrew year 5785. And then I went on to explain to her that what you see here in the mathematical formulas underneath is how everything operates. One Anno Mundi year is always two Anno Domini years. One Anno Domini year is always two Anno Mundi years. So when the AM year, Anno Mundi year 5785 began, it was at the end of 2024. And these calculations apply. 2024 plus 3761 equals 5785. And 5785 minus 3761 equals 2024, right? That's how every single one of the Anno Mundi years, when they start out, that's how it operates back to the Anno Domini years. And then later on, the Anno Domini year shifts, while the Anno Mundi year stays the same. And then it's 2025 plus 3760 equals 5785, and 5785 minus 3760 equals 2025. And that is what was in my plain sight here without me fully recognizing it, though I know what this process is. But the last time I brought it up, I didn't explain it, that what it's doing here is it's showing the 3761 and the 3760. It's saying, yes, the words that you are sharing here is the truth, but there's also another truth, and that other truth is being displayed within the numbers. It's 3761 and 3760. 3761 or 0. It's like a reminder within it. Yes, you are telling the truth, but there is another truth to it, and both of them are shown within this key pair here, right? And it's applying addition wise and subtraction wise. The 3761 applies twice both ways, and the 3760 applies twice both ways. And then here I'm just showing that 2024 Anno Domini year is also the Anno Mundi years 5784, 5785, and the Anno Domini year 2025 is the Anno Mundi years 5785 and 5786. So real quickly, we're going to subtract 1 and 1. For the other version, And here is our other truth. And again, it is relating to our exact time right now. We're in the Anno Monday year of 5785. And when this lesson here is being taught by the Word, which is one of the main things that the Word is teaching me, is awareness of our time, our times, right? The stuff that I had absolutely no idea about before I began learning from the Word was that there's always 3 years at play in terms of the Anno Monday and Anno Domini calendar. It's the same way with the days. There's always 3 days at play within the Hebrew days and the Greek Roman days, right? Because at sunset is when the Hebrew day changes. So every single Greek Roman day has a representation of 2 different Hebrew days. Every single Hebrew day has a representation of 2 different Greek Roman days. And that is all of the different stuff, right? 5785, right when this lesson is being learned, 5785, just as when I first got exposed to the Lisrael numbers candidates list, 5785, and the very day that it happened happens to be the day that when I put into my Hebrew calendar converter, the day when 3761 was both 1 AD and 1 BC, and that was Tevet 17th. When I started checking it, I didn't even realize it until I was looking at the video later. Oh my gosh, this is the exact day, right? Tevet 17th, 5785. And then I go back in the calendar. Now, it's not exactly going to be Tevet 17th. Tevet 17th, 5785 only lines up with Tevet 17th, 3761, and what is December 31st, 1 BC, and after sunset. No, wait a minute, let me think. Now that actually wouldn't change it. So it was to the last day of the deal. So it would be, because the Greek Roman day isn't going to change until midnight there. So the sunset thing is for the Hebrew day. So the Hebrew day of Tevet 17th should began at sunset on December 30th, 3761 a.m. and ends at sunset on December 31st, and then it was would be Tevet 18th, which would be the January 1st of 1 AD. See, all this stuff is really tricky, and I'm still learning it myself, and the Word is an absolute excellent teacher of it. But it happened to be Tevet 17th, which would have been the very last day of (3760), not the last day of 3761, but the last day of 1 BC. And then at sunset, it turned to Tevet 18th, which happens to be January 1st of 1 AD. Only on the Hebrew date calendar, because there's the 10 days that were skipped in the Gregorian Reform and the 3 days of lag since aren't factored in there. So it's 100% within a 14 day window of the actual day that happened, as long as everything that is being told to us in terms of the calendars and the reforms are true. But it's right, it's within that 2-week window. And that's why when I show the picture, they have a little disclaimer saying that if you go past 1752, which must have been the last time one of the days lagged in terms of Julian and Gregorian calendars, there's a 13-day gap in it right now. Right after that, then you're going to have to start doing some calculations on your own. You have to go change it according to the 1-day lag from 1752 going in reverse back to wherever that began, and then the 2-day lag from that year back to wherever it began, and then 1-day lag back to the year of the Gregorian reform. And then you're going to have to skip the 10 days prior to that to get the exact Hebrew day of when those things happened according to those things. But it was on Tevet 17th, 5785 was when all of that came to me, which was the day that the Hebrew calendar converter goes right to for that, without the accounting of the 10-day skip and the 3 days of lag in the Gregorian reform. We're in the 3rd day of the Gregorian reform right now, which is based upon the lag, right? And another interesting thing I wanted to say was that 523rd prime is 3761, and that's the whole basis of why we have all of these Trinity years, is that 3761. And also the days are all trinities, with each Hebrew day and each Gregorian day being associated with 2 other days. Everything is in sets of threes, right? And then it was 325. Everything in Lisrael is about the reverse, right? The 523rd prime that was used for the calendar reset based on 3761, right? In the year 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea and the Trinity doctrine deal. So I thought that was a very fitting how that 325 AD was used, the reverse of the 523 in terms of the primes, which is 3761, which is what makes all of the stuff click together in trinities. The days are trinities, and the years are trinities in the AD and AM calendar system. So the first time that I ever shared it, I didn't put the S on there, candidates, and I shared the candidate list, the Lisrael numbers candidate list, and it was that same 5785, right? And then it was later looking at it plural, right? There's multiple candidates, right? Where I see the whole deal, and it happens to be based on the 7th day, the 7th time that the 3761 bridge applies to the Lisrael list. 2496 plus 3761 equals the 7th time when it will happen. And the 6th time that it happened was 1947 plus 3761 equals 5708. And they always happen on that scale that I was using. When everything turns, it's always 3761 based, right? So the year 5708 AM, or Hebrew year, that began in 1947 and that ended in 1948, right? In this 3761 year bridge, that's what takes it across the Lystrel numbers candidates list is what was used, why the timing of the calendars is what the timing of the calendars is, so that there would be those periods where the 3761 bridge would connect the two calendars together. Former times that used to be Anno Monday times will get connected to the Anno Monday time 3,761 years later, which was all about Abraham, right? And this is 1947 plus the reverse, 7491 equals 9438. And then Abraham, this is 1948 plus the reverse, 8491 equals 10439. And I was putting the key in there the other day, right? Now this shows a double anagram of 1948 and 1948, which is what was the whole deal. Everything, the timing of everything is set up so that the birth of Abraham in 1948 Anno Monday matches the birth of Israel in 1948 Anno Domini. And the word key is 13783, which is 5708, versus the reverse 8075 equals 13,783. What was the other one? And Israel, the one that it was all about, 5708. Here's the anagram for 1947 plus 3761 equals 5708, which is the one that it was all about. It's all about Abraham and Israel, right? 1948 births. And then the conception periods are 1947. It's just like it was sometime November of 1947, the Balfour Declaration about creating two nations within the nation of Palestine, the nation of Israel, right? That conception, the idea, it was conceived, thought of in 1947. Before it was born in 1948, right? That is the whole deal that is going on between these with the Lystrel numbers candidate list and our calendars, and when things are happening according to the different times, right? They're related. There is nothing happening in AD time that is not related to Anno Monday time. And things are happening again in Anno Domini time to go back and match what happened in the same year when it was Anno Monday time, minus 33,761 years prior, or later on in the year, minus the 3,760 years. So when I did all this, the Lystrel numbers candidates list, that's 1947 left and right, plus Abraham, that's 1948 left and right. The word key is 5708 left and right, and it shows the double 1948, and then I put in the and Israel, which is the other 1948, right, that's shown in those two keys, and then there comes our total deal, 1947 plus 3761 equals 5708. Right? And that's the conception of Israel, 1947, which is also the conception year of Abraham, 1947. AM, right? AD, Israel. Abraham birth, 1948. Israel birth, 1948. AD versus AN. That's how all of this stuff is operating here. And the Word is showing it all and teaching it all, how to go about looking at all the things that are happening in terms of time, right? And the relations of the time, and why the time is all what the time is said. And like I said, with the Lychrel numbers candidates list, nobody in the world had any clue about any of it. All the stuff that I've been teaching you and showing you here that's in your plain sight in that list, there's not one person in the world that's noticed any of it. They should have, because it's not that hard to notice, but there's absolutely, you can find absolutely nothing about it anywhere. Right? But it's all here, it's all within the Word, and the Word operates on the same stuff that the Lychrel numbers operate on, those reverse processes. So when the number 3761 was used to reset the calendars, right, bet your ass that the people that were involved in the Nicaea and the Trinity, they knew that the 523rd prime was 3761, and they knew that they were using the reverse of that number, Lychrel based. 3761 is Lychrel based in 325 AD to set up that Trinity. There's maybe not all of them, but the ones that are really in the know about everything, they knew that they were establishing a Trinity around the very thing that establishes all of the years as Trinities, right? So what would it be? 325, 30 plus 3761, what, 4,000, 4,084 AM, and then later in the year, plus 3760 equals 4085. So the Trinity of years for 325 AD in the Council of Nicaea was 325 AD, 4084 AM, and 4085 AM. That was the Trinity year there, right? And I'm sure those people were aware of it, and that the 523rd prime was 3761. And if they weren't aware of it, that would surprise me at such a high level of the secret holders of the Pharisees and scribes in the world, which is what that was. It was a council of the Pharisees and scribes. For them not to have any awareness of it would be very surprising to me, but even if they didn't, right, God had awareness of it. God wrote it. That Lychrel numbers candidates list is written by God. Absolutely nobody can change that, right? And then it's all related to the Word, right? It speaks of major stories, and all throughout times, things have happened, very significant things, exactly according to that Lychrel numbers candidate list, right? Like I've gone over it. The founding of the birth of Israel is involved in that list. The birth of the United States of America is involved in the list. The real beginning of the United States of America was John Cabot, the very first day, 1497. There's many very significant things that I have already discovered and shown, but there are a ton more instances of everything happening according to that Lychrel numbers candidates list, right? Time and what is going on within time is happening because of that list, which is a list that is written by God, right? There's only certain numbers that number plus its reverse number equals a number, and then you continue on, plus its reverse number equals another number, plus its reverse number equals another number, that will never form a palindrome number that is the same back and forth, right? That is a mathematical language of God speaking those numbers to be significantly different than all of the other numbers, and then all of our time is running according to that Lychrel number candidates list and the 3761 year gap. And I have shown other things too. Let me look real fast. So what was it? 9438. So we're gonna go 8349 plus 3761 plus 1673 equals, right? That's how it goes too, right? 8349 plus 3761 plus 1673 equals 13783 equals 5708 plus 8075, right? 1947 plus 3761 equals 5708. 1947 plus 7491 equals 9438. And like I have already said as well, the setup based on the instances of the 3761 bridge is also the same setup as Genesis chapter 1. Creation, right? The creation of, right? Everything in Genesis 1 is about creation. And there was evening, and there was morning, first day. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day, the third day, the fourth day, the fifth day, the sixth day, right? That's what time, that's where 5708 was. It's the sixth day, 1947 and 5708. And this is all about the creation of our time. Why does our time say what our time says? It's the Lychrel numbers candidates list. That's the only reason the AD time is what it says, is the Lychrel numbers candidates list. And then the relation between the two calendars is always relating and repeating things from the past. Why? Only because of the Lychrel numbers candidates list. The creation of your time, what it says, is the Lychrel numbers candidates list. And that's what I've begun to read since Tevet 17th, 5785. And that's what I've been showing here. But I want to thank Tammy for bringing up that question to inspire me to come out and show a video a little bit more about what this is showing. Yes, this is truth. The year of the world minus 3,761 years equals the year of the Lord, or the year of the Lord plus 3,761 years equals the year of the world. That is the truth, but there is another truth as well. It's 3760, right? Each year of the world is always begins with a 3761 association to the year of the Lord, but then it switches. The year of the Lord switches, and it switches to a 3760 association to the year of the Lord. And that's exactly what it shows. And again, here, when that lesson is being firmly taught by the Word to me and through me to others, right on time, 5785. Just like when the Lychrel numbers candidates list first began to get read by anybody in the world, 5785. And then I add that est because it's plural. It's not a candidate list. It's one on the list, right? It's a candidates list. Many numbers on the list, though most of them break down. They all break down to only a few numbers, because they're all derivatives of the numbers that don't make palindromes as they grow in size as you go down the list further. So there's only a handful. I'm going to go back through, break all of those down, and read those better, the original ones, right? Where it starts at this number, and take out all of the other numbers that are derivatives from that number, right? Just like all 6 of the instances of the 6 days in the Anno Domini years, they're all 9438, right? But it'd be the very first one that begins that 9438 that covers all of them, right? You would never go through and have people working on all of these different numbers that go through 9438 after the first time. That number plus the reverse equals 9438. You'd only go through the number 9438, it would cover all of the other numbers, right? You would be wasting labor and resources calculating all of these different numbers when you just calculate off of the one number. And then the number 196 is going to have all kinds of derivatives throughout that list later, because 196 through billions of calculations of the number plus the reverse number has never been found to have a palindrome date. So at every single point in time, the number 196 creates another derivative that's on the list. So I'll pull my calculator up and say 196 plus 691 equals 887. So 887 is a derivative of 196. So 887 plus 788 equals 1675. 1675 is a derivative of 196 plus 5761. 7436, another derivative, plus 6347. 47 equals 13783, the 5708, right? So the 5708 numbers, no need to calculate that number out, because if you're working on the 196, right, you can go billions of digits deep on 5708 plus the reverse, because it's a derivative. It comes to the same 13783 derivative of the number 196. So that's a special deal tied to that 6-day Israel. But all 6 of the Anno Mundi years in the 6 days are to 13,783. All 6 of the Anno Domini years to those 6 days are 9,438, right? And the 3761 year bridge goes across all of them, right? And then there's a very significant gap. It's not from 1947. It goes to 2496. 999 years. Oh, wait a minute. 2496. $24.96 minus 1947. It's 549 years. It would be 549 year gap before it happens again, right? It happened 6 times from 1497 to 1947. Now is a 549 year gap. Put some extra shit in there. So that's a 459 with different anagrams going on here for 594. That's a reverse of it. Oh, 459 again. There are going to be some word-based things within there. What? Something to do with Jesus. Let me see. It's a little deliberate. Again, anagram style of it. The 459. What was it? There's definitely some relations within the word. That's, again, different derivatives. 549, 549. I'll have to look up some of that stuff. And also, I should look at the other gaps between these things and for potential words spelled out within it, just like I'm looking at here, this gap, 1947, 549 years, 2496. Right, and I could probably piece together words within the gaps because the word operates on all of this stuff. Like right here, 5995, reverse 95, reverse 59, 154, 154. And that's something like the word L. But that's how all of the keys within the word are calculated based off of Lie-Shrell principles, which I didn't realize they were Lie-Shrell principles until Tevet 17th, 5785. Right? I realized there's reverse applications going on like crazy to derive all of the keys, right? The keys to gnosis that the Pharisees and scribes have hidden from you, right? Because this isn't the first rodeo. I'm not the first person sharing this word with the world, right? This word is older than all of the other languages in the world. Right now, it's the first and last. It's the newest and the oldest language in the existence in the entire world today, right? It's been shown many other times. This is the exact word that Jesus was sharing with and teaching people from right here. Right? So I'm not the first to be doing what I'm doing with the word and showing these different things, right? And of course, right around the time of they'll call BC before Christ and AD after death, right? And this is the basis right here within the restart of all of that whole deal, right? And there's definitely a reason why that in Jesus' time, all of a sudden there's a calendar restart according to the Lie-Shrell numbers list, according to everything going on within the Word. Right when there's a teacher of the real Word, the oldest Word, right? At that time, it was the first and last two. It was the newest and the oldest Word language being taught within the entire world, right? And when there's a teacher teaching that newest and oldest language at the same time in the entire world to all the people, they use a massive restart that is based upon the living Word and the Lie-Shrell candidates list, which is also the living Word written by God, right? So there was somebody on earth at the time capable of reading the Lie-Shrell numbers candidates list, capable of producing and teaching the living Word of God, the oldest and newest Word at the very same time. And we have the whole restart that's according to all of the things that I've been showing you here as I share with you the exact same Word and the exact same principles and the exact same morals of everything that Jesus was sharing with everybody when it was his time to teach the Word that I'm teaching right now here in my time. So with that said, I want to thank Tammy again for bringing this subject up and inspire me to share a little bit more about what is going on there. Yes, this is the truth, right? In the words. This is 100% truth within the words. But there is another truth associated as well, and that is it here within the numbers. The 3760, 3760. So, well, while you say something and it is truth, there is also other things that can be said at the same time that are different, that are also the truth. So with that said, please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you think that's something you should do, and have a nice day.